What is up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Guys, we back in Sweden. This channel came across my feed and I was like, oh, this is interesting. So went a little deeper. This is Kyler and Nia. Seemed like they recently moved to Sweden. And I think he a pro basketball player. I don't know if he's in Sweden because I'm looking, he got some stuff in Norway as well. So I'm sure he is out there familiar with just Scandinavia in general. But I thought that was pretty cool when I seen this. So I haven't checked out his pro basketball game day video in Europe, but I assume he's playing in Sweden, which is cool. I'm familiar with a guy that played basketball currently in Sweden. He actually was teammates with some guys I trained and worked with and coached before. They all went to the same high school, like 30 minutes from me, and one of them is playing in Sweden right now. So I thought that was pretty cool. But this is Kyler and Nia. Y'all make sure y'all follow them. They're almost at 1K subscribers. They got some interesting videos so far from the titles and the thumbnails that I've seen. So I think this would be cool if y'all just support them and follow them. The link will be in my description as well. But I wanted to check out this video, 7 ways Sweden is better than America. Just because, like,
We didn't move to Sweden
it's
expecting to
sorry.
rethink how
There we go. Just because it's one of those things. I've been doing videos for a long time. I actually got the opportunity to go to Sweden, stuff like that. So I think this would be cool to check out from them. But like I said, they got other videos as well. So y'all check them out. Subscribe to their channel. But we here now. We ready. Let's get into it. 7 ways Sweden is better than America.
we didn't move to Sweden expecting to rethink how everyday life should work. But that's exactly what happened. Because there are things here that are completely normal that most Americans would honestly find surprising and maybe even wish existed back home. After living here, there are 7 things that Sweden does that genuinely made us question how we lived before. Because over time, we started noticing that there were certain systems, habits, and cultural mindsets here that honestly made life feel calmer, simpler, and in some ways less stressful. Now, we're not saying Sweden is perfect. Every country has pros and cons. America has amazing strengths, and also Sweden has some amazing strengths. This is just our experience as Americans living here. But there are definitely some things Sweden does that really stood out to us. So today we are going to share 7 things Sweden does better than America, at least from our perspective living here. Let's get into the video.
Okay. Exciting. Like I said, I love Sweden. Definitely can't wait to go back.
One of the biggest mindset shifts we've experienced living in Sweden honestly came from something we didn't expect to affect us emotionally as much as it did, healthcare. And we're not here to debate politics or policies. This is just about how it feels living everyday life. If you grew up in America like we did, healthcare is something that sits quietly in the back of your mind almost all the time, even when you don't realize it. It shows up in little decisions. When you feel sick, you might try to wait it out. When something feels off, you start questioning whether it's serious enough to go get it checked.
And I don't know, maybe it's me as a man. That's what I'll be doing. I'm like, maybe it'll pass through. I'll be okay. And then it's something. It's like, dang, I didn't plan on going to the doctor. I mean, I think I got a bill the other day. I had to get checked, and a joker was like $300 for like a 30-minute visit. Probably more than that, honestly. When they add all the other stuff, I think that was just one bill. It was probably more attached to that, honestly, that they will send later.
Almost this mental calculator that starts running. You think, is this worth the cost? Or what happens if this turns into something bigger? And honestly, we didn't realize how normal that process felt until we experienced life somewhere different. In Sweden, what surprised us wasn't just the healthcare system. It was the attitude around health. People go to the doctor when something feels off. People go for preventive care. People do not treat doctor visits like last resort emergency situations. That creates a completely different emotional environment around healthcare. There's this underlying peace of mind that affects how people live daily life. When you're constantly carrying that what if something happens financial fear, you feel lighter mentally. You notice people prioritize health earlier. You see people talking about stress, sleep, and mental wellness more openly. Health becomes something people maintain instead of something they only react to. And that shift might sound small, but it changes everything long term.
And I think that really do, because I know people like you could get certain types of insurance if you got good insurance. And most of the time, you really have to have a good job to have good insurance. Unless you're like on disability and stuff. Like I know people that on a certain type of insurance, they're probably in the doctor all the time, you know, especially if it's something major. But like I said, if your insurance kind of like, you're definitely not gonna be checking in on that all the time, you know. And I think we overwork here as well, so the stress levels are always high. So we don't really, I had to change my mindset and start focusing more on my health these
Affects
days,
how people plan their lives. It affects how people age. It affects how people think about balance and wellness overall. For us, it was one of those things where we didn't realize how much stress we carried around healthcare until we experienced life where that stress felt different. And again, no system anywhere is perfect, but that feeling of focus on recovery instead of financial consequences stood out to us immediately.
Healthcare is important. Yeah, healthcare is definitely important, man. Super. Take care of yourself.
Living in Sweden is how work fits into everyday life. In America, productivity is often tied directly into identity. You meet someone new, and one of the first questions people ask is, what do you do? There's this strong push to grind, stay busy, chase opportunities, level up. And there's nothing wrong with ambition because we have always been very driven people. But Sweden introduced us to a different perspective of productivity. Here, people work hard, but work doesn't consume their entire identity. One thing that stood out immediately is how normal it is for people to fully disconnect after work hours. When people finish work, they genuinely shift into personal life mode. You see parents spending intentional time with their kids. You see people walking outside, biking.
And I think that's a good thing. I think I'm not going to lie, my situation is different because I'm a coach. Like, and of course he played basketball, but ball is life. No, just going from my basketball season and having kids, I think I did the most this year, honestly, because not only was I coaching my team, I was assisting my son's AAU team, and then my baby boy had games on him. Like we do basketball every day, just about. We've been kind of on break because I've been coaching. We've been in track season right now, but just thinking about it, I'm like, dude, that's a lot. Like as a coach, it's like it's never ending, you know, or even just having people reach out wanting training and stuff. Man, it's a never ending job. So I try to balance it and really create boundaries. That's what I've been trying to do, man. Because it's important, like you mentioned it's important to be like, hey, no, time for my kids. Like even tonight, I'm going to be taking my wife out. And I've already planned it. It's like nothing's going to stop that. Or at least somebody else, you know.
Sitting at cafes, enjoying nature, spending time with their friends. And it's not just on weekends, it's weekday life. Vacation time is treated very differently. In Sweden, vacation isn't viewed as a luxury or a reward for burnout. It's seen almost as a requirement for maintaining a healthy, productive life. And when people take vacation, they truly unplug. That was honestly difficult for us to understand at first because we came from a mindset where being constantly available felt responsible and professional. But over time, we noticed something different. When people rest consistently, they actually seem more present when they work. They seem less burnt out, more emotionally balanced, and more focused. Being around that environment made us question our own habits. Are we always busy because it's necessary or because it's what we've been conditioned to believe success looks like? Another thing we noticed is how family life is prioritized here. Parents are deeply involved in their kids' daily lives. There's this sense that relationships and life milestones aren't things you squeeze and work around. They're things you build your life around. And that shift is powerful.
Work-life balance. And I think that's always gonna be a top one right there, that work-life balance, man. Like, literally.
Now, moving on to the third thing that really stood out to us living in Sweden is the overall feeling of safety and trust in everyday life. This is just our personal experience, but it was noticeable very quickly. One of the first things we noticed was how comfortable people seem in public spaces. You see kids biking to school alone, teenagers using public transportation independently, families out late enjoying parks and walking trails, and it feels normal.
I'm telling you, I was literally, when I was in Sweden, I was walking around, headphones on, no problem. Nobody bothered me. I was walking like 2 hours away from where my hostel was. No issues. I honestly remember when I was in Denmark, actually, I was getting on a tram and I actually seen, it was like a whole school. It had to be like 30 to 40 kids and like 2 teachers. That was it. And they were getting on and off the tram because they were going to the mall where I was at. But, nobody looking like, why are these kids not right? Because we have school buses here. So usually you see a school bus, you think, oh, field trip. Somebody have a sporting event, a game going on or something. It's a team, but they were just on the public transit. No problem. Like 2 people that were teachers, and they was handling all those kids. Nobody looked strange at them or nothing like that. You do that here, they're gonna be like, wait, what are y'all? People gonna be asking questions for sure. They're gonna ask questions.
I remember just walking around town in the evening and noticing how calm everything felt. People walking dogs, couples biking together, kids still playing outside. There wasn't this constant sense of needing to stay alert or guarded. Another thing that surprised us is how trust is built into daily systems here. You see honored-based systems, self-service stores, public spaces that rely heavily on people respecting social rules without constant supervision. That level of trust changes how people interact with each other. There's less tension in public spaces. People generally assume positive intent from others, and when people feel safe, it changes how they live. It changes how kids grow up. It changes how communities function. That sense of everyday safety is hard to measure, but it affects quality of life in huge ways.
Safety and trust is always important. Always important to be safe. Better safe than sorry, they say.
Okay, now moving on to number 4. One thing that surprised us way more than we expected living in Sweden was food and grocery culture. Grocery shopping here feels completely different, and honestly, it changes how food fits into your daily life. One of the first things we notice is how fresh everything feels. Produce, bread, dairy. There's a strong emphasis on quality ingredients. We remember walking through the bread sections and noticing how much of it was fresh baked daily instead of packaged bread designed to last for weeks. That alone changes how people approach food. It encourages more frequent grocery shopping, which encourages cooking more regularly. Another thing we notice is portion sizes. Meals here often feel smaller but more balanced. You notice a strong focus on whole ingredients, vegetables, protein, simple seasoning.
Cause that's definitely what we've been on. More whole foods, not the processed stuff. I'm not gonna lie, I changed my diet. We actually changed our diet here and been eating better. Like I said, changed from whole foods, from processed foods and all that stuff. I've lost almost 10 pounds in like a week and a half. Just eating right. Like, stomach feel better. I'm not bloated. None of that. Like, it's crazy how the food, I even tell my students, I'm like, dude, y'all got to make sure y'all eating the right stuff. This stuff messes with your mind. Eating bad food messes with your mind. People don't believe it though.
And culturally, meals feel less rushed. People sit down together more often. You always see families eating together. People pause during their day to eat instead of grabbing food between tasks. There's also a cultural tradition called fika, basically coffee and snacks, but it's more than that. It is a social and mental reset moment built in everyday life. Another thing that stood out is how grocery stores are designed. Everything feels organized, efficient, and simple. Self-checkout systems run smoothly, and recycling stations are integrated into shopping. Food feels less processed overall and more connected to lifestyle habits. And over time, that changes how you relate to food. It becomes something that supports your daily rhythm instead of something rushed between busy schedules.
Food and grocery. I'm telling you. I'm actually gonna do a video, me and my wife, when we go grocery shopping. I told her I got a DJI Pro, and we're actually gonna kind of show y'all our grocery store, because we have an Aldi's here. That's European, but we also probably will do like Walmart and kind of compare and show y'all, or at least have some people compare with us, stuff like that. I thought that would be cool. So if you're interested in being a part of that with the let me know. But we're gonna do that. Because I think it's important, man, so y'all can see. I know I always try to learn here, but I want to show y'all some stuff from over here as well. So, thought that would be cool.
Okay, now as we're approaching the last three, I would like to hear about you in the comment sections. Does any of these culture shocks surprise you? And if you live somewhere else, which one of these sounds crazy to you? Comment down below. Okay, number 5 is public transportation was another huge lifestyle difference for us. In many parts of America, having a car is basically required. Daily life revolves around driving. But in Sweden, public transportation feels like a reliable, normal part of everyday life. Trains, buses, and trams are clean, organized, and predictable. And reliability is what makes the biggest difference. When transportation consistently runs on time, people plan their lives around it with confidence.
Yeah, and I ain't gonna lie, I got better my second day? No, my third day. My third day, I got better. Especially going to Sweden first prepared me for Denmark. Because when I went to Denmark, I was able to read signs and everything perfectly by then. So being in Sweden helped, knowing where to go, how to read the sign. Because I'm not used to the public transportation, but learning how to read and do all that stuff. Well, not learning how to read, but learning how to look at the signs and know what's going on, what this is, what this station is and all. That helped me out a whole lot. You know, no, it didn't teach me how to read. I know how to read.
No, we do, because we are huge on time. Another thing we notice is how calm public transportation feels. It's quieter, more relaxed. People often read, listen to music, or just enjoy peaceful time during their commute. That also changes how commuting feels emotionally. Public transportation also creates independence for younger and older generations who don't need to rely on driving to navigate through daily life. And when transportation works smoothly, it reduces traffic congestion, lowers stress, and supports overall city flow. Over time, we realize transportation systems don't just move people, they shape lifestyle patterns.
Yeah, I definitely enjoyed the transportation system, man. It was cool. I think I had a 24-hour pass in Denmark, though.
6, and honestly, this is one that we love. Another thing that completely changed our perspective living in Sweden is how accessible nature is. Nature isn't something people here treat like a vacation destination. It's built into everyday life. You can walk short distances and find lakes, forests, trails, and parks everywhere, and people use them constantly.
Always nice.
You see families walking trails after dinner, people swimming in lakes during summer, kids playing outdoors naturally, and couples sitting quietly enjoying nature.
Man, I feel like that's what kids don't do nowadays here. They don't play outside enough. I remember I was telling somebody, I was like, man, at my grandma's house, when we went outside, we couldn't come back in. So it was like, if you wanted to get water, we got it from like the side of the house, from that little, little faucet thing outside, you know. Like from the water hose. That's where we got water from. Cause we know you come back in, you staying in type of thing. We used to have those type of rules. So of course, no, I want to stay outside with my friends. If I have to sneak in and get some juice, I'm really risking it right now. But other than that, I'm getting water from the water hose outside, so I can stay outside with my friends.
By nature changes how people recharge mentally and emotionally. It encourages slower, more intentional living. It creates built-in opportunities to disconnect from stress and reconnect with yourself. Over time, we realize that nature accessibility doesn't just provide scenery. It supports mental health, physical health, and overall lifestyle balance.
Yeah. Nature is always nice. I can't wait to go back walking. I want to take my boys on a hike. One of these
Number
days.
7. The last thing that really stood out to us is how cities here are designed for people, not just for cars. Walking and biking are normal transportation options. You see bike lanes everywhere, pedestrian streets, safe crosswalks, city layouts that make navigating without driving so easy. And that changes daily routines.
It's funny because I always tell this story, even when I was in Sweden. That bike lane, like I was so amazed trying to film and stuff. I almost got ran over by a bike, not a car. Almost got ran over by a bike. Somebody, they were just ringing their bell like, and he was not stopping. It wasn't like, oh, excuse me. No, he was not stopping. He was ringing his bell. He almost ran me over. Why? Because I was in the wrong. I was in the way. But I was like, oh yeah, I almost got hit by a bike, not a car.
Dramatically. Walking or biking becomes part of everyday movement, which supports healthier lifestyles naturally. It also makes cities feel more connected. You notice more people outside interacting with their environment and each other. And when cities are designed around people instead of just vehicles, daily life feels slower, more social, and more community focused. That design philosophy changes how people experience their environment every single day.
For the people.
Living in Sweden has honestly changed how we think about everyday life in ways we did not expect. Again, no country is perfect. Every place has trade-offs, but experiencing life somewhere different has given us new perspectives on balance, health, community, and lifestyle. And we are curious, if you could bring one of these things into your daily life, what would it be? Let us know in the comments, and go ahead and drop a like and subscribe if you're new here. And like always, in Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Amen. No, this was good. This is good. Definitely gonna check out more, man. But like I said, if y'all could, let's get them to 1,000 subscribers. They're almost there. Just comment on the video. Dar sent me or something. That would be nice. But this was good. I think this was very informative because he kind of hit on some things that are very important: healthcare, work-life balance. You know, and I know it's like, oh, we heard the same. But it's always different when it comes to people's experiences. Everybody experiences life differently, you know. So everybody's gonna mention work-life balance. Everybody's gonna mention healthcare because, especially if you're coming from the States, you never it's not valued here. It's not valued, and sometimes you don't realize it until you leave. You don't realize what's not valuable here until you leave, you know. So, and you just see the rest of the world value people more than money. And over here, we value money more than people. Now, you do have people individually that value people, but that's always different. That's always different, though. But I enjoyed this. Hope y'all did as well. Y'all make sure y'all hit that subscribe button. Send down those recommendations. Y'all be blessed, be the best, and be you. I'm out.